Yeah, we are now live. I'm just gonna wait for people to come through.
Yes.
We are now live and just waiting for people to come through. Otherwise, kunjani Gauteng?
Well, Gauteng is yes, iGauti alisenayo la golide sasizele thina. We came here early as young children, and we're told there was gold and meat. Akukho nyama, we are lunch. Akukho anything nalo golide kuthiwa iphelile ngoku.
Iqekenini kaloku udalo lapho.
Ngoku sesipakishibhek wena sime ngasemnyango. But of course you can't just leave ngoba khona abantu who look up to your presence and all that for now, and you know ukuthi na post le COVID people are still drowned into soaked into this misery basically COVID, you know. Yeah, but all in all, no complaints, we are well.
Thank you so much. Welcome to all our viewers and all our followers. We are live on both Facebook and also YouTube. Let me welcome Dr. Love, the popular dog. Dr. Love, Dr. Mveleli Gqwede is gonna introduce himself. I see a lot of people have actually come through. I'm sure they will have quite a few questions and a lot of comments. I will read some of them as I go through the interview. And Dr. Gqwede and Dr.
Yes.
Love, as you are well known, let me thank you for the moment that you've borrowed us. Thank you. And then
okay. IsiXhosa ndiyasithanda kakhulu but ningandisoli ukuthi sometimes ndifuna utsatsela ndifake nesisuthwana kancane ndibonakala into yoba angathi ndi-up market.
ayongxakileyo as long sizawuvana.
Hayi isisuthu sam sinesixhosa mose simoshakele kwasona.
That's perfect. Kubani Dr. Love, and where is this thing that Dr. Love where is it coming from?
Okay, let me ithi ndithu Dr. Love ngokwasemakhaya. Igama lam ndingumveleli Gqwede ne. And ndisuka kuTsolo ne. Ndizalelwe pha kuTsolo. And then ndakhulela kuTsolo ndawufunda izikolo zami zonke zebanga eliphantsi naphezulu. Because ndiqale eMthatha ndifunda ku standard 7, ndafunda St John's College. Sahamba ke ngo St John's College. Yazi into yase St John's mos niveni ithwathwe nokuthiwe niyokwenza ogqirha nje ungazange wasithatha ngothu medical school. Yeah, anibuzwa apha. So okondathi lapha eGauteng ndase ndachipha ke into ebuhlungu. Ngoku wathi apha ekuchipheni kwam apha ndafika ndasebenza kakhulu nee-communities and zafumana umuntu owayekhuliswe ngokwesiXhosa nesintu sokuthanda nokuhlonipha abantu.
Yes.
Ngoku ke ngona neyami ilento ipractice yokuxelenga ibixengo kakhulu nale kuthiwa kuthanda abantu nje. Uxele ngumuntu uthi umlandele uyomkroba nasendlini ufike pha umbuldoze pha uthi ungene ulale kwakhe uthi hayi bendizogada ubusuku bonke. So abantu bayithatha liba hayi manje uthando akusukuxelenga nje. Ngo ndathi ndithi phapha ndiyavuka hayi wonke umuntu bathi hayi lo doctor lo ngudoctor wothando. And ke xa ndithi ndiyakhumbula kancane before kufikelwe apho kuloo ndawo ndandikade njengamuntu wayemtsha ethanda izinto ezazithile ezaziqhaqhazile ezinice. Ndandibizwa nangento zabe fashion because kaloku bendinguma fashion omkhulu apha eGauteng nama Versace afika ngam apha eSouth Africa. Dingo Dr Versace ndihamba ndinyuka ndiyehla kodwa ke into yaba strong in my character nalapha ekukhuleni kwam yayilento yothando. So I think into yahlekisa was that bathi abantu xa sekuthatha umthetho ngam kuthiwa ningathi ngudoctor nje funeka nithi nguDr Love ngoba usithanda sonke sibade sibafutshane siba njani yaqala nje kanjalo nami ndothuka sendibhalwa pha ngaphandle emadongeni ba Dr Love awu Dr Love ndim kanti okay.
And abanye abantu they were thinking into about this is just a nickname. When I was doing the flyer, I was doing rounds and people were asking why can't Dr Love is a real doctor, And I said, yeah, he's a real doctor with MPSHB. Where did you get your MPSHB?
Ndafunda medical school esePretoria ekuthiwa iMedunsa. Kwakuthiwa iMedunsa ngobonana it's called kuthiwa intwana negama lelihle ngona.
Sefako Mahato.
Imarhato. Usifako. Ndibuya pha eSifako.
And then currently, are you practicing public or private?
Well, I'm practicing private currently for most of my time, and not make such a public private, but mostly in the private because ndingilonga ezinye imini sendizibona sendisenza nezinye izinto zomphakathi zicaba hayi azifuna umuntu oqashwe u8 to 4 uyabona, so ufuna umuntu ozakwazi uphinda athele elinye ixesha lakhe hayi ndiyayikhame kancane ixesha lam ndilinike abantu kakhulu.
Yeah, ndinethemba lento yoba uyayilandela ipage yethu Aphile Communications and our talks on radio and TV. Singu-Aphile Communications singabantu aba-grounded kakhulu kwimicimbi ye-sexuality, issues of gender, izinto ze-sex, izinto ze-orientation, sexual orientation. Yenye yezinto esikumemele zona apho because kukho iimfundiso ezininzi nezinto ezininzi mhlawumbi esingazifunda kuwe, nezinye abazali abaxakene nazo mhlawumbi bazafumana amacebo nento yoba zahendlishe kanjani kwicase yakho and all that. Unabo abantwana?
I've got children. I've got children of my own. I've got 3 children of my own, and then ndinabantwana endibakhulisileyo ke uthotho labantwana endibakhulisileyo of my family, my brothers, my sisters, children, and then ke ndiphinde ndibe nothotho endilukhulisileyo kakhulu elokishini koFosloras Katlehong, abanye ngogqirha futhi.
Okay, wonderful.
Ndikhulisile gqithi mandisebenzile umsebenzi obhexesha ukhulisa abantu.
Mandiye kulo mcimbi apho kufele khona ithole. Ndiyakubona nje ndikujongile iinwele zakho zitsefu zitsalela ngapha nangapha and ngokokwazi kwam ngumntu ongubhuti wakutsolo. Ndingakuthutha nokuthutha. Kwathini? How did you discover umcimbi we-sexuality? Wawuke wanawo umdla kubantu abangosisi and then kwathini? Can you just take us through your story?
Mandiyibeke kanje lento le ukuthi uyabona xa ungumuntu uzalwa ekho lento uzalwe naxa kuthiwa umuntu xa eya esibhedlele eyobeleka umntwana kuthiwa uzawuzala umntana onjani, uzazala umntana omde omfutshane, uzawuzala inkwenkwe, kuthiwa umntwana ubanibani uzele umntwana, kuthiwe hayi umntwana wentombazana or umntwana wenkwenkwe, you know. And then umntwana wentombazana nenkwenkwe ngumama owazi kanjalo andithi. And then xa ukhula uhambe udibana nabantu nokuthi ubuwena obubuyi-nature yakho as a human being hayi kamamakho or katata yakho kwakho bakheke apha kuwe ngaphakathi. Ezinye izinto ke kukhona izinto ezaziwa umuntu uzazele wena uyi-1 ubatyhini mna ndiva kanje ndibona kanje noba ndixelele ekhaya but ikho nto endiyivayo kanje. Sometimes uzawuthi kusithiwa hayi ungaboni kanje uqomba mna ndiva kanje. So indlela esikhuliswe ngayo sikhuliswe ngokuthi sibe nento ekuthiwa hayi ungenzi kanje, ungemi kanje ngoba ungumfana, kanti le ndlela ebuma ngayo befamba kona bakubonile uba hayi awuzenzisi yinto elapha kuwe ngaphakathi. So uve abantu besithi uzidiscoverishe nini, awuzidiscoverishi into elapha kuwe ngaphakathi, awuyidiscoverishi idaliwe.
Wena uqale nini uzi-expressa as a gay person ubona uba kaloku abazali banabantu bandizele umntana oyinkwenkwe apha, ndilindele into yoba uzawuba netsheri okanye abe nomfazi and then ndilindele into yoba siphathele abantwana, zonke ezaa zinto. So wena uqale nini uzi-expressa into yoba in terms of i-interest yam andinazo ii-feelings kweli cala, ndinee-feelings kweli cala, yaba lula kangakanani uyi-communicate loo nto leyo?
Okay, mna ngokunokwam ndizawuthi ukuba ne-freedom yokuzi-expressa kungoku sendilapha eRhawutini kakhulu, sendisebenza ndingugqirha. Isephithi ndaqala nje ukusebenza ndisasemtsha because ndingene ebhara sokwenza internships nabo 21 nje sibancinane. So by the time I was 22, 23 kuphithizela kuthiwa nabo doctor abantwana abatsha and all that uyayibona. elo xesha ngona ubona bayikhini abantu bayakhona ukucelebrate abacelebrate bona bacelebrate achievements zakho and bathola nechance yoba bangaboni ungumntu orongo. Hayi ndaqomba hayi bandipha ilibhathi ukuthi let me express myself the way endingakhona. And then kuthe kwakuloo nto whilst ndisasebhizi zami uziexpressa kanjalo ndabe ndingaphakathi wala kahle in deep relationships with i-expectations ze-society ngoba I was already married mna ndisasaqala ukusebenza uyabona. But ke uyabona xa ungumntu uyakwazi ukuhlala phansi ukuthi khawuthi ke ndiweyishe amasaka amba eli saka likhulu nangakuphi na. And you know ngexesha esikhule ngalo thina lento le-sexuality ibiyinto efuneka ibe yinto oyikhuselayo, ibe yinto yasekhusini nokuthi uhamba nabani nokuthi abantu bacinga ntoni nangawe. But kuye kwenzeka into yoba kwafuneka ndikwazi ukuhluza phakathi kwinto endizifunayo nendingazifuniyo. Mna ngokunokwam bendizifuna zonke. Ilizwe ihlabathi lithi hayi choose one.
Yeah, xa uthi uzifuna zonke, do you mean?
And then ndafikela kuloo nto yoba no man, ilento ye-sexuality nokuphila kwabantu abantu bayakuprescribe bafuneka ube ngumfana utshata ube njani abakubuza uba wena ufuna ntoni. So ndithe ke xa ndigqiba ngokunokwam ke mna ndithe ndigqiba nesikolo bese ndinabo nabantwana ngoba bendindwebe kakhulu. Ndindwebele yonke into ekhona apha phandle.
Xa uthi ubuzifuna zonke ubunayo interest ebantwini abangosizi uphinde ube nayo interest ebantwini abangobhuti?
I can safely say I was never forced to go and date women. I just dated them because it was just, even it felt normal for me to do so. Nobody forced me. And even the person that I got married to, it was just normal that I get married to her because we've always been together for a long time from high school, you know. I-pressure yabakhona yayi-pressure ngokunana of the styles and standards of living. When people start create a pressure ukuthi hey uDr nangu simbone ngona nasekane kuphi bendindiyayifihla shem, you understand, like nomnyeni enofihle xa ine-girlfriend. Hayi kwacaba ndaqomba uyabona sizawuthi xa ndibhaqiwe mna xa ndihamba indlela yami esecaleni ibizwe ngoba inekwe ngcono ke ndibe ndiyobamba inkwenkwe ngoba inkwenkwe ingathi strong, uyabona. And somewhere along the line I think ngenxa yendlela into yokuba apha eSouth Africa futhi in fact mandithi ilizwe lonke sisaphila kula era yokufuna ukuba zi-activists and be active in trying to transform i-society. And then I also had to give lead and leeway because I was almost seen as a first a professional person ofundileyo ngugqirha who speaks out normally, who doesn't make it ngathi it's a big issue ukuthi ube uye wathandana nomunye umuntu. And i-big issue is how you carry yourself around abantu, and abantu bayibamba lento ukuthi no ithetha ngendlela efanele ukuthi wena fanele uqala uzihloniphe wena ungayilahleli kubo nje ngendlela enjani nenjani na. So mna ndenda abanalelakhi ke ukuthi ke by the time kusenza kanjalo abantu bevele bendithanda anyway. So into ebendiyenza abantu bayakuthanda. It's okay for a family to see uDr Love gay or uSomizi gay, but othuke xa ungumntana wabo because akana that social flag.
Yes, that is why ndikumemile, because kukho abantwana abaninzi abaface i-stigma, kukho abantwana abaninzi abaface i-discrimination, kukho abantwana abaninzi abacommita i-suicide, kukho abantwana abaninzi abafilisha unaccepted, ababhulishwayo, kukho abantwana abaninzi abaface le nto kuthiwa i-corrective rape. That is why ndifuna umuntu onjengawo so that sithethe ngomcimbi we-sexuality. Kukho ii-parents ezi-under stress ezingalaliyo ezine-depression, athi umzali ndazala umntana oyinkwenkwe ngonyaka othile andiyazi le nto yenzeka kweli khaya ngoba lo mntana wathini, okanye ndazala umntana oyintombazana andiyazi le nto indenzekelayo kweli khaya. Then let me just read one comment from uThembi Ngubane. Uthi uThembi Ngubane, Dr Mveleli Gqwede, so happy to see and hear you on this platform. How I wish abanye abazali bakuve uthetha. Dr Love, sex and sexuality can never strive on social prescripts. Into oyiva ngaphakathi. What is your take on that?
Yeah, okay, into ebalulekileyo lento leyo ukuthi first it's very important ukuthi we understand ukuthi i-sexuality yomuntu ayidefinwa by anybody. I-sexuality yomuntu is so unique that even nalo uthi straight for himself ne preference yakhe at that time. Ungava omnye ethi hayi mina ndimfuna umuntu osiduhle, athi omnye ndisifuna islender, kodwa usafuna intombazana. Those two things are not the same. Uyabona, so into ye-sexuality is very unique, ilapha kuwe ngaphakathi. Nam andifuni mfana nje noba uthi nodakiwe, andisamfuni futhi nogugile ngokuna over 40, sendifuna ama-Ben 10 ngoba ndifuna nje ukukitazwa ndihleke, uyabona. I-preference makafika umuntu omdala ovela uqomba you lo tata ozabe ndibuza nge-cononritis, maybe namadola wasasebenzi, uyayibona loo nto. It's your own preference. That's why uthi udibana nabafana athi umfana hayi mina andiyenze nto, mna soze ndiyenze nawe ngoba wena you're not my preference.
Let me just take you to one thing. Kutheni abantu aba-gay okanye aba-lesbian mhlawumbi umuntu aqala atshate enze yonke laa nto then azovela later xa senemali inento kwenza noba nemali ukwazi uzi-expressa into yoba this is how I feel?
I think imali, we have got to put it on the side. It's just a social enabler ebantwini to be able to express themselves, because inayo le nto yofaka abantu ukuthi badelele kancane. So mase ngayikhokelisa phambili uzathola ukuthi bazifaka ngenkani, baziphusha umuntu afuna uviwa into yoba hey mina ngigay, mina hey ngiyi-lesbian, you understand? But at the same time abantu kakhulu, especially abantu who become visibly and babe clear ukuzi-expressa ukuthi ndigay ngokunana or ndinjani, they've always been. Unfortunately, it is because of a society that was based on oppression. Now, if I'm showing into oppression inje, every black South African or every black African to date, no bungayibiza uthi racism nentonton has had a fair yokufila feeling yoba unwelcome by the world, because we are undermined and be suppressed and oppressed. Sometimes it's discrimination, you know. But I even take it to the deeper end. For instance, abantu abakhubazekile nje, wheelchair, what. Sike sicinga babona khona abagay pha kubo ngaphakathi. Noba sisixela ba lo ukhubazekile ngahle akafuni kwasex, uxelelwe ngubani wena? So there is that element yokuthi into yemali izisa a little bit of illiberation, but izisa at a level yokuthi abantu bayizisa ngokudelela ngokunana sebengathi bayaflonta, bayaflosa, and it's so unnecessary. Everybody has got their own sexuality and it's very unique. Into endichazayo, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something endichazayo. I always say to men, now you know there's something that men should ask themselves as a species. Amadoda awakwazi ukulala ngengubo enye ngaphansi eyi2 ubusuku bonke bashushubezane basipunane kube njani, kuzawumosheka kuchitheke isali apho somehow, because men are physical elements, the sexual visible sexual interest and excitement. Women can hide ukuthi hey hayi nami sendiyashiselwa igazi liyabaleka. This is why bekwazi nokuhagana nokukhisana, because that is not so obvious. So at the end of the day, kukhona this element yokuthi sexuality, there is a physical element yayo, there's an emotional personal feeling elapha kuwe ngaphakathi as a person.
Okay, let me just read one comment from Dr. Unathi Makiwane, who's a Canada.
Yes.
I interviewed Dr. Joe, a sex therapist. He mentioned that even straight people sometimes will have a random attraction to same sex, not meaning they are gay. What is your take on that?
That is true. That is true. Then it takes us to the element of even the term ye gay, I think it's all a social space to just put abantu in minority groups, in groupings. I believe people are unique as they are. For instance, mna ngeke uvuke ekseni uthi kum hey uyakhalela ukudata there's an example, I'm not being a racist. Umlungu hayi ndiyayisaba le nto ndizawumthini umuntu opinki kangakaneni ulezi zikonja yena yabona nje uvela ucinga into ezikude kunawe nje ne already but kuthiwa lo mntu gay. Do you get my point? And it's not my preference. And njengoba ndisitsho ngithi kwa umuntu ongumfana nje onormal, I when I go home I'm very casual and part nempahla sometimes ndiye ndiqomba zanxa impahla zobrother bam nezabo bani, but there's this thing yokuthi when you are grounded as a person, your brother is your brother, but omunye lo one uyabona animal ukuthi yipreyile, uyabona. And kuyo yonke leyo nto leyo, it doesn't mean if you meet somebody and then you date each other and then uthole ukuthi lo muntu lona straight. In my case, I have had the opportunity of just dating straight men, and then batsho bona batsho ngemlomo yabo ibhodi zona azitsho, we understand. And nama ngifuna pressure yokuthi how now that is so siya date seni gay ayikho kanjani.
Just on that, kukhona abantu, men who are having sex with men that are not necessarily gay, abangakho gay. That is abakho abaz-express njengawe into yoba I'm not interested in women, I'm interested in men and whatever, and then they go on bayolala nabantu ababhinqileyo baphinde balale nabantu abangobhuti. I-danger okanye into endifuna uyivelela apho, there's a perception, ukhona uluvo lonto yoba abantu abagay abancamatheli kwi-relationships, move from one relationship to another. Nithini ngezinto ezinjenge-pre-exposure prophylaxis, use of condoms and lubricants and so on? As a medical doctor, is it easy in that sphere upromote ezo zinto? And
I believe
bisexual.
Yeah, I believe abantu xa sithetha inyani, abantu ba-careless whether they are gay or bisexual or straight. Abantu ba-careless. We still need to preach in today's lifestyle that safe sex is the order of sex efanele basibe si-engage kuyo, whether it's with a gay person or with umuntu ongekho straight. The only problem esiyifaceayo that I can tell you, a lot of my other even younger friends, they like to hit on men in bars, and it is known well, and it happens in a bar. Kube ngathi uye toilet kanti niyovalelana nalaphana and there is no condom.
Yes.
Condom
And then
and it's happening, and it's happening so often, and it happens to men that even have relationships with women. And then uthole ukuthi lo mntu lona uzokhupha i-stress, he just wants to speak to somebody, and then this speaking ends up being sexual. Now ukona this other latest excitement here, gender-based. It's not excitement, let me not put it as an excitement. This thing is gender-based violence. A lot of men go and find a friend and solace in gay people to go and download the issues abanazo nabafazi. Ba-end up besithini besesebecela nocansi oluncinane baliqhekeze bathi hayi ndiyabonga. Now you ubone ukuthi now sex is moving from being, it's an object used for distressing, and also abanye sebefuna indawo yesolace yokuzothola i-comfort to come and tell issues zabo. I always sometimes hear ndithi I wish there could be a conference between abantu abagay nabo mama kuthethwe ngale gender-based violence, just that lot nje.
we can organize that.
that lot is imihlolo ngayiva apho izinto ezithethwa ngamadoda kuma-gay ngabafazi babo. So now, and then we go back to the issue yemali. Amadoda ayatefa lately, and ungathi ananendawo yofuthi yothando bazincuvist. Hayi bayifuna imali epetroli, bayifuna imali ye-school fees, but bayayazi ukuthi ufuna bayisebenzele. Bazawa kulama gay. So uyabona lezi zinto zifuna ukudiscusswa kakuhle ukuthi makhosikazi make kuthethweni ikhona i-common ground esidibana kuyo.
Imali.
Nathi le mali. Imali has been so put into the center of life and relationships. It's so sad to a point that even you meet young people. You know, I drive a little fancy car, And then when I get into this fancy car, and then sometimes I'm looking that side, but hello, sissy, you, and then babon mandim, but you, hey, mina, hey, ngago, mauti ambuzon, at you know what, hey, I pin number, namngangena la pakuwe, hey, no muntu. Titi haya ndina muntu, wenu nae, at ukona maruta kiwe la pension. We are is not important. Baboni moto ngoku. And then they start saying, oh, it's so and so.
There's also
and
this
those
impression
are not
about
gay people.
into abantu abagay bathande uzexpressa ubonakala apho akhoyo umuntu ogay ufuna uba I mean you want to be the center of attraction i-mannerisms zenu indlela enidressa ngayo and so on. Why is that? Is it something internal or nifuna attention? What is the story?
I you know le nto yokhula uvaleleke ngaphakathi ne-environment ubona ukuthi kuyakuvala the day uvula amasango. I always say ubugay kahle kuba way to define ubugay, it's just the over exaggeration of expression, because there's no need to put i-makeup ukuthi nama shiya ngathi azawubhabha ayenza amabhebhethwane ngathi zintontoni. There is no need, because you still have to be you know. At the end of the day lama bhebhethwane sometimes abalekisa nalamadoda ukuthi uyawufuna, you know, because bacinga you are extra too much, ne? But I think it's an element nje yokufuna over-expressa, which is something efuna ukhuza ebantwini. But in the process, it's nice to break loose from the chains of open, but learn to be you. Because I think, for instance, in my space, I never wake up think I'm gay. I think I'm a functionary of a society that must go into gogo, mandongisa la family, mama bazwani, manbe party yalo nto leyo. Let me go and see those children if they're all right. Kukiwe, functionary yam leyo. Dikhumbula afterwards, yo, we are so nice kusho umfana ba, oh, by the way, uyabona ukuthi hey intombi le. Uyayibona? So iyafuna ukuthi even if a parent says ukuthi umntana ke unoba gay, it's normal to say, but be yourself.
Yeah.
Do you like to be usphiwe? Yes. Because into entsha futhi ekhona nalaba bafana bafuna ukudate umuntu onormal, hayi umuntu abnormal.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. But there's an over-expression of into mannerisms and
ndiyabakhuza ndimisa imoto mna ndimisa imoto ndithi hello nana, how are you? Uqale iba ile nto ingathi esakuthusa nje uzukuyehlise ke sisi uhlise la.
Oh my God.
Very interesting. Mamela, let me tell you a story.
When I saw an experience, so quite apply breaks.
Let me tell you a story. I ran a program with another department, public works. We're doing awareness campaigns, business development, to the disability sector. How? The next minute in the how when ungene njani apha kuthi disability. It yazi nisile nini. Nifuna ba disabled alone. Ndithi niyahleka apha xa ubhala ukuthi hey useless azivukelwa ayikho yawa njengeyomntwana akasenayo usebenzisa the other side. Ithi disability kalo nifuna disability yekuphi babengahleki befuna ukufa. But in essence, people are ruled by the depth of their sexuality le bangathethi ngayo or bangazi-expressi ngayo, ne-availability ye-circumstances ukuthi ziyavuma nalanto sithenga ngayo leli qhosha leli. Hayi ke mawuhamba ngalo nasezilalini uyiviva biya riyavaya.
Yeah. Can I ask you something?
Yes.
As a gay person, the use of the penis, do you use the penis for penetration or do you get erection?
You know, in the gay circle, okay, mandibe gay circles because it will be easily understood. I think for me, I still believe into a relationship, there is I wouldn't want to call it the term dominant and the less dominant part, but the left and the right side of things, you know. You can't just penetrate each other at the same time, in the example. And at the same time, kukhona lento ubona into ba hayi man lo kule character yakhe nobuyena bakhe ungathi ubukhosikazi buningi lapha ngakuyi. Lowo ke unjalo uya angathandi ukuthi ayifuna udate umuntu onobukhosikazi ngoba uzaba ngathi wenza lesbian manje. Yeah. Then means uzawufuna bani? Ufuna laa ndoda ithela ipetrol phaya egarage. Ne? Uzokwazi ukuthini? Ndicela uthetha isiXhosa. Uzokwazi uyibhentsela. Sithetha isiXhosa andithi?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the process yaleyo nto, then kuba khona that thing ukuthi uyen ukhona i-discussion bengeke ndaba nayo apha nabanye abantu ukuthi you know kukhona umuntu that is most powerful abone powerful hamba pha ngaphandle. Sometimes umuntu onjalo uyafuna nokuba nento emthemayo, like uyathemeka xa ifika ekhaya woyika ugogo wakhe, you understand, kodwa pha ngaphandle uyoyikwa sisigora, you understand. But uma kungafika ugogo kuyaphela ubusigora. So umuntu nomuntu ukhona into ezimthemayo, uyabona. And for instance the very strong-willed gay people uyabona ukuthi hayi man laba the way they want to rule and ruin whatever, they still need something that tames. And between a relationship of even a man and a woman, women are stronger. They bathetha kusalela bilizwe but bathenywa intoni kukuyophinwa down, bahlaliswe phansi bake bathi ukuthowalala. Ihamba kanjalo ke nalapha. So even uthola ke abantu ababini abacishe bafane benze i-gaysbianism, uyabona nje ubomba hayi ngomama bobabili aba. Hayi, that's why ubona ngathi ama-relationship ama-gay awahambi kakuhle ngoba bajongene nje asi-exterior kanti omunye befanele bekhona i-dominant figure nomunye ongathi uzise uba spiritually sound and strong spiritually, hayi physically. Hayi ke labo bazawuhlalisana bakwazi ukuphathana kahle. Bakhona umama nobaba yonke lento leyenzeka.
Okay, sure. And then xa ugodukile wasezilalini ukutsola umoza umkhaya wami. Xa ugodukile abantu basezilalini abakufakela imetho xa ukho imicimbi emakhaya yonke laa nto. Ngoku usaqala ukuvela out kwakusiba njani? Wawuphathe kanjani?
Hey, I don't think yazi abantu to me as a human being, people responded to the way I expressed myself. I think xa ndiye ekhaya andisangabugay kukodwa uMveleli.
Yes.
And uMveleli ngulaa mntwana bamaziyo wayisuka aye kwatata umabanibani ayengaba kwagalela aye kwagalawe kwabanibani afika anikeza izinto afika babulisa abahage the very same old way, to a point that mina xa ndigoduka ndiphathi neempahla ndithatha i-tracksuit nje iyi-1 ndinxibe ndihambe ndizawunxiba phambili into zabo brother bam, and abo brother bam ngamaqaba nje ba-rough ndifake ezaa zinto zabo because I feel I belong to them, you know. And there is no way emakhaya uyibone qha futhi bendisanda ukuyibona ngobe bendigoduke about 2 weeks back. How kwathiwa masiye tavern, hey bonke abafana bengathi kule qinjakazi ethile ndathi hayi ndingazoniqhela ngoba hayi amsoyi lento nje sokuthanda ufunda into zasezincwadini nasezilalini neemoto neentonto, hey bonke bebetyhwise ngathi bantu. But normally andikaze ndibe nalaa nto because I think people will always react to who you give them to be. And there's this thing about hostility. Hostility is always full of reject and all that. And if you give people humility and love, there's a little bit of embrace so you in advance.
Kantakisele one thing, kukhona abantu abathi batop, bekhona abantu abathi bottom kwi-gay community. What does that mean?
Nazo, okay? Yeah. Lento yoba top noba bottom ile confusion ibiyenzeka apha ukuthi abantu abagay bathi beyi2 bengomama bobabini befuna amadoda, omunye aqomba hey hayi khawuqala ngam, so kwacacwa hey imbi lento ukuthi ke iqala ngam yifa kuyife nami ndenze, uyabona yonke lo nonsense. But ngoku bazenzela another expression ukuthi hayi mina ndi-bottom hayi ndi-top. Lo bottom basho ukuthi bangabantu besimame.
Ewe.
Yeah. Lo obutop usho ukuthi kuye inkunzi kaMinos. Sangiyihleka manje kangaka.
And then xa inkunzi kaMinos, it means ke ngoku ayingaba abantu baphela belunga macala baphela be-bisexual abo abantu ba-top. a gay person will stop ayingena
uthola
uphela
ukuthi le top lelilo elilixokayo lisuka phaya ebafazini tona lithanda abafana bathanda izinto bazana ngapha bazokutsatsela athi ndiyitop ndigay inkunzi kaminosi into embi nje ukuthola nje ifraud yothola ibottom lithi liyitop uthole ezokudefrauda ngoku uyabona uzotsotsa impundu injani.
There's a comment from Yolanda Mhlakaza uthi, and I think nemali iyayitshintsha i-sexual orientation yomntu because umntu uzolala nomnye ngenxa yala mali azoyithola ingakumbi pha kuma HMSM, and once wangena it's not easy ukubuya umva because wow imnandi into epha eviwa HMSM inayo imali inayo impact to convert i-sexual orientation yomntu.
Uyabona ke ndizawuthetha lapha eRhawutini hayi apha eRhawutini ayikho okay andiyazi noba yila akudala saphethwe zizisu arhonayo la mathi afaka isuti ahambe eziminca isuti bencane mabebona i-checking apha bayilandela shem basose behlala lento ayithetha inyani iyalandelwa i-check up
ayiyongo ke
umuntu ufuna kube nguye ozawusala ebane last word nawe in the car.
Then ayongo ke ngolento ibangela sexual chains, a person moving from one relationship to another. That is why mhlawumbe abantu bengabi na stable partnerships.
You know uko wathi omnye umfana kum ndimbuza ndithi kuye hey yazi nina the way eningathi nizi-prostitutes ngakhona once you see ungathi umhlaba uyehlele and ubona ngathi hayi ku-easy apha une-bank card izawuphuma easy wathi akokuqala umthetho uyasivumela ukuthi ngona namasinishele siyiqabelise ngaphezulu uthi umthetho ngithi mna umthetho awufani wakudala uyasivumela uthi singabuzwa kubuzwana
umuntu uqhele yakhe
that's number 1 and number 2 uthi kha usijonge yeyiphi intombazane engamelana nawe ngokuna namangathi makube kwizinto phansi bendiye kwakho ndafika wapheka kamandi wenza kwaba warm bona ibhedi lakho linjanjani ndingafuna ubuyela back mina kwamthuqwasi ngathi hayibo ubuyele ezo bhedi lapho uthi hayi ke futhi ke hayi nestaff ndifumanisa uba hayi asiyahamba siyivivo biye kwasona.
There's just one question from Umpielo Ramotsamai. Uthi most of the gays are rich bayithatha phi imali? Niyithatha phi imali? Dr. Love, where do you get money?
I don't know.
I know you are a doctor, but
let me tell you, I have seen a phase in my life where I didn't understand why I had so much money. I'm not talking about the phase I'm a tender and abantu tenders and all that. I'm talking about the phase of working with an open and a good heart amongst people. That God multiplies what He gives you with your hand, and mostly. Ukuba gay loku kukuba nenhliziyo enhle evulekileyo nakubantu xa usebenza nabo, then anything that is given or planted in your hand it multiplies because it's a seed anyway. Ifika umhlaba umhle uvundile ukakuhle. That's what I've seen. I've never really figured stage upon born okay, there is things suffering in the leg and all that, but when you land yourself into a seat nobody funding or whatever or serve abantu into zakho ziyakhula because your heart is for life. Mina ke that's what I believe. Mna xa ndibona abantu umuntu omdala really ndiba nenhloni zonezomthatha umuntu osikhulisele nokukhulisa abanye abantu abandipha imali hayi ndike ndithi hayi hamba gogo thatha kunjalo.
I've just got 2 more questions for you. One,
yes,
we're fighting a pandemic STIs, we're fighting a pandemic HIV, we're fighting a pandemic hepatitis, and fortunately you are a medical doctor. And
yes.
Let me just say it frankly, without being a sarcastic or discriminative, gay people are notorious for moving from one relationship to another or having as
no. You know why? Yeah, you are right. Gay people aboneli imiqala mide. uthi uhamba noSifiso ubewubona ulento uZolani pha abuzolani naye kwenzela amagwegwe ngapha and ube uyazi ba uZolani uyazi ba hayi mosakumithwa apha kho yonke lento. And this is why we need to have proper programs that tell people ayibaleki yonke lento enzakalayo. What you see, the grass is always greener on the other side. Ufike pha same problems. That's why ndithi kwaxa eqala ethi wenza amabhebhethwana izinto ezi-extra ubomazi into yoba no akakazifumanisi. Everybody needs to learn to find themselves, because even within indaba ye-sex and sexuality nje, just sex itself, let the activity, you can still say no just before iqale, because you know ukuthi akuna abstinence issues apha, akuna condomizing, akuna faithfulness. Uzibuze ii-questions ezo zinto siye sizibalekele, and those are basic things that should run between normal straight women or something. And what has happened now is that women want to compete namagay ngoku, benza lezi zinto ngoku nabo bazilahlela careless, and ke bona ke uyabona kuba kwinkinga ke ngoku nani kufuneka kuvulwe ne-abortion clinic the other side.
But Kum, you are well positioned. You are a doctor. You've come out very clear into about you are gay. Is it not easy for the message esuka kuwe into about guys? The anus is too risky for HIV. It cracks easily. It's 25 times more dangerous. Let's use condom and lubricant. Let's use pre-exposure prophylaxis. Is it not easy? Are you using any campaigns? Are you involved in any campaigns to cut the chains?
Well, let me be honest with you. Uyabona iphase esibuya kuyo iyaphela ngokunani. Iphase ebesibuya kuyo iphase apho ungazi ba andazi bangubani bekhulula ama-gay wakhulula izitrophe, ube ngathi ngonotsiba idyokwe ubungafika eGauteng ufika nase-Eastern Cape abafuni nokuva into abayifunayo nje kukuhambe betatsalaza nje. But now I think badiniwe, because they have seen ukuthi there's nothing you gain out of ukutatsalaza. And as we are even speaking khona ngoku sithetha nje, I think time is opportune ukuthi sifike in areas. I'm actually even trying to put it on e-programs that we do, because I also do with programs in SAPS as well. We're going to be doing it with my universities. We must go back to the basics, whether you are gay or what. But it's nice to speak from the position, a platform of being gay. There is nothing you are going to gain if you don't actually look after yourself. You know, what you've touched upon, there's hepatitis, there is HIV, there is all these things, as the delicacy of the sexual activity, and the carelessness, you understand each and everyone, if you are young, or in fact everybody should be carrying something that is going to harm themselves. Carelessness, sex, it as careless as people hold beer and money, alcoholism and money. So I think opportunity right see now each and every program we have to remind young people that it is real, whether we like it or not. We're going to have a society society, because now people can't get married because no, we haven't tested. There's a problem, you know. And abantu abaninzi ngokunana balento ukuthi there's a mixture ngokunana ukuthi they don't want to get married because bafuna nje just to have money and careers and all that, and then become careless. But opportunity of time, it is the right time to say, Tina, we need, especially health professionals. Okay, maybe ke abanye kuzothiwa nithetha ngoba anazi, thina sithetha ngoba siyazi into yoba iyadabuka iYY leya. Ngoba abafana bayifudluza sometimes bacinga uba hayi ile yamanyani, kanti ayokuyozenzela kumayingeze ifuna ukuphathwa kakuhle with delicate, inconywe imane incanyiswa kancinci, imane incanyiswa ithanjiswe. Manje ke abanye bafana bafike bafohloze bacinga uba hayi uphethe isupha ntontoni efuna isupha glue. Ngeke ayihambi kanjalo. Nomfana xa ingakwazi uziphatha phezu kwakhe mhlise ithi hlika mfana awuyiphathi kakuhle into yabantu.
And then I see, I'm part of the Yellow Dot Doctor Network, so I see a lot of men having sex with men. I see a lot of gay people because I'm more into men's health.
Yeah.
The tendency is that I see a lot of gay people who come late to health establishments with anal warts, with all sorts of STIs, well advanced and complicated. Why are people from the gay community reluctant to go to health establishments?
No,
Uthembe engafuni ukuya.
I think first of all was the fear of being victimized, stigmatization in health institutions, and thanks we are talking about this, ne? Because whether or not people never know what you cannot shy away from you and your problems. Uyike abanye abantu, because naba bantu bahamba nezabo problems. I always tell people you
Exactly.
can't uyike to go and seek help. Now help bebeyoyika before, because they were being told ukuthi bowenzani ngempundu, kuthiwa akudlalwa ngazo ngaloo ndlela, and uthola ukuthi ngoku nabafazi sebefuna ukuyofundiswa zigay ukuthi zihamba ngoba babona amadoda ayigijimela zona, ungathi going line, uyayibona. So njengoba sithetha nje, it is normal because people don't actually have the proper hygienic programs nokuzikhathalela ukuthi xa ufunga ukuthi kuyanwaya, you must know there's something wrong, even if it was a crack, or a crack is not normal. So look after it. If we ever ngathi kunento ngathi yakhula, go to the doctor very fast.
Thank you.
Yes, thanda ke lezo sifana zifunela mina nawe, and unfortunately wena ke awube ne luck ngoba nawe ngabe ugijima nathi nje ngabe asina problems.
No, the only thing I do now is to treat you. Well, that's why I invited you. I want to make sure that you guys don't run away.
Mameli ithi intombazana izolo, hey Chomi khawundifunele somebody. Ndithi mina awu ndizamthola phi umuntu. Athi hayi, ndithi ndicinga uba there's a friend of mine nice, ndimdefine but hey ndithi hey nice and ngubud bay nice, unentshebe njani. Uthi you Chomi ngoku wena why you too nice? Ndithi hayi kaloku nami ndifuna abantu abanice, uma ndifuna bosikhotheni ndizawuthola laba abanice. Uthi ungakanti wenza lento yenu ukuthi mina kanti ngoyena usafe lo, ufuna kumceba, ndiyakwazi wena, ndiyakwazi ba uyancamla nangali.
Yes. And then there are quite a few studies that show that gay people are actually prone to depression. Is that true, as someone who being a doctor and being someone who's gay? Is it true that
I think depression really has got a lot to do with pressures, the affluence. There is an element, half of it is the pressures, the affluence, and the other element is the pressure of being isolated from who you are and your circumstances and environment. And a lot of gay people, until they meet to get to listen to such discussions, would it be yourself? And you don't have to rush to look like it's a pity. I'm sorry, I'll use Somizi, because now he has his own pressures. You know, you read about them every day, and try and find a space where you learn to find you. We're not the same. You must never see Dr. Love now. You Dr. Love. You are not. First of all, maybe you're not a doctor. Maybe you are even lighter or something. So there's a lot that is different. But what I have seen, not just as an experience, out of my travels and all that, I went to the US one time when traveling with Mrs. Mandela, and then we went to a place, to Michael Jackson's punk compound. And you know Michael Jackson, I think umuntu odansa ophezulu kulight lights around. Safika as normal as it comes. Enxibe i-shirt le kuthiwa inontshontshe. Yabona le shirt ekhule iboya. Enguye nje nenwele zidlakahlaka. And then I asked myself, lo muntu lona ukabe nje. And as it's strong, you the way in this carabin, I classes are up. Hey, I wasted my time. And then again, we bumped into another very, very famous figure as well. How? Siyafika ufaka ama slippers amdaka la wena xa uzoxawuve kumuntu endlini yakho uqhoma ngomawafihli as if wena awanciphi. What no, when I get to my house, I wear off yonke that public persona, public face. I become myself because I find pleasure in finding who I am and be relaxed in my space. Uyabona ke mina ke ndingumuntu ke o relaxed. Yabona xa ngene endlini ndingena ndikhule ndilahle kwanto ungathiwa ne-underpants bangasemnyango the way sendiqhele ngakhona ukuba free ngakhona. But uke kwenzeka apha usweleke i-cousin yami apha kulezi zinto zami zongabhadli ndithetha ngokuthi mina sometimes andibhadlanga. Ndazibona ndiphume nge-t-shirt kungekho kwanedunas apha ngaphansi. Ndizibona xa ndifika apha ndiyongena uba yho i-t-shirt imane inyuka impundu zizawuvela ngaphandle. Sendiyakwazi yho ndiphatheleni ibhlukwe apho. But I realized ukuthi I'm so happy that I have me. I'm not obsessed about ukuthi andinazi pijama. I don't buy pajamas because andizazinxiba phi. Ezo zinto zo silk bani nabo bani. I like to look exotic, but for myself, not for other people. So let those depression ezingenisa gay is because they want to do things for other people because they've seen maybe kuthiwa hey besise event yamasama ubani banenxiba into ethe. That thing is not practical. Xa ufika ezindlini zabo abafuni nokuyibona bona self. So we need to teach people, learn to be you. What you have is good enough.
And then there's a community of people who are tomboys, and they're quite young kids who sometimes, out of sexual identity, end up hating the fact that they are having menstruation and so on. And then there are people who end up squashing their breasts because they feel they are trapped in a wrong body. What would you say? What would be your message to those people in terms of sexuality issues?
There's an element of what we've been saying that first of all, before you are anything, learn to accept the things that you cannot change. The fact that you have breasts, they were given to you, not to me. And the fact that you have breasts, you have to accept and embrace them. You don't have to make them support you like the others. Uyabazi labantu bafaka ama-breast ngathi bazaphuma ngomlomo ne because bafuna uattracta abantu ngale. Wena wear yourself as normal as you can. And kukhona effect yokuthi abantu bathole ukuthi bazinelwa ngama-breasts makhulu. There are surgical ways of dealing with that, but you shouldn't go there because you don't want your breasts. You should go there because you just want to be manageable. Learn to love you the way you are. You know, can you imagine? I don't like my face. It's that same old notion. And I think the people that are faced with those things is people you should understand. If you do not show appreciation of who you are for your own self, who must love you?
If you don't love yourself, that's Dr. Love. And then the people who hate the fact that some have got VJJ, some have got the vulva and vagina, they hate it. Some have got the penis, they hate it, they also squash it. The same message goes for those people. They must just accept themselves and love themselves. Well said.
Can I take it personal to me? Yeah. I like sleek clothes. I don't like utunxibe ibhrukwe kube kuvela amagqajololo and ungazibuzo wathini. But I still make sure that when I buy underwears and pants, they must fit well and not squash me. Not squash me. I'd rather liqazule lo bhrukwe kunoba inzi squash. I've learned to come to that stage of life to understand what these things are andizozenza nto, and after all zifuna uthandwa ndim xa ndingazithandi zawukwenzani.
Xa uyochama uchama kweliphi icala?
Hayi mandile question. Mamela ndichame ebafaneni because there's an opportunity to see nice things there. There's good of both. There's good of both.
Abakufakela imehlo. Abakujonga.
No, let me tell you, abazufaka amehlo. Abafana baya. I think abafana bandifundise into ba you know, when you are yourself, they just appreciate you. People under general, when you are yourself, people appreciate you. So when I go to the loo, abafana, sometimes ndibone kunomfana ngathi usexy. Sometimes ndiyenza isathi, oh my God, what a nice place I came to, you know, and in this phekuze nomoya, and then do my thing.
Uyayibona ke la nto kusoloko ninenhliziyo ezinde, uyayibona loo nto leyo?
Umqala upheli ndikuxelele. Kodwa ezinye ngomgodi awugcwali. Yho.
And then gay couples and lesbian couples, when they want kids, what options do they have?
The first and the best option that they should have is to go to their families. There are too many children that need fathering and mothering in our families.
Wonderful.
Now, this thing of being under pressure to go and look outside and all that is just an extra, but the first and the most thing, if you so wish to live together and all that, you must know that you have got a space of parenting people. Now, let me tell you about parenting. It doesn't need gender. Parenting is love and discipline.
That's true.
If you don't discipline abantu libala kubapha imali nentontoni uyabamosha awubaxeleli yes no no, and yes no no is not who you are. It is the normal book of life yokuthi umntwana uba ngumntwana. For instance, I don't like 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds but gay. Those are children. How come to gay at 12, 13? We are a child. Play with others. Why must you play sexually when? So I think that's my take with and the people shouldn't make
that's very good.
They shouldn't make it like it's an achievement. We brought up a child, besi partners gay and it comes out. Right? It's not an achievement. The achievement of life is when people get right, whether they are gay or not. Nanso story.
Thank you so much. And I'm trying to look for one. There's a comment I saw. Oh, I love this topic. Zinhle Phakade Mthuli uthi, oh, I love this topic. In fact, what I love ukhulile shem ndayithanda i-IQ yakhe yazi. People like the fact that you are yourself and you are free about who you are. And then I sent ichazi ke leyo chama. So that was your answer to the to the question. Then if you were to go to hospital, there are gay people who are very particular about they feel that they are female, they want to be with females all the time. And then even in hospital, they wouldn't like to be in a male section, even though they've got a penis. And when they use toilets, they use female toilets and so on. How should we handle those situations in South Africa?
I think it for me, this thing of life, abantu rebel in life to try and gain access to be heard is something that we can't stop. And they hide around stories of who are activists. I don't see a reason ukuthi endlini you've got one toilet nisebenzisa nonke indoda nomfazi xa nifika ngaphandle you want to be fussy about using any other toilet except for ukhohlakala ke ngoku. You get my point? And I don't see a reason ukuthi government ithi yakhile i-facility nazi room okay ngizabeka abafazi apha ndibeka amadoda ngapha and all that, not unless there are these things ekuthiwa ngabo transgender nabo bantu banesibhedlela siyelanga sex bathuni ufana nasecaweni mhlawumbe ngithi nasecaweni asiyelanga sex mangabikho umuntu abesibuza isithi khona ama-gay sesontweni asizelanga sex mfundisi.
And then let me just ask you, we are left with 2 minutes, but in that 2 minutes let me just ask you one question. Umntwana ukhuliswa by a gay couple or by a lesbian couple, who likely to assume the same, le nto kuthiwa i-role modeling. Xa ukhuliswa zii-parents ezigay, ii-chances zoba ube gay zinkulu kunomntu okhuliswa zii-parents ezi-heterosexual.
No, the same question.
That's my closing question.
Yeah, the same question must get reversed. A child who is gay because of the nature of who is he, is it a natural ukuthi ayeke ukuba gay na or not? So I will say there is no truth in that umuntu nge-sexuality yakhe can be orientated by somebody else. Completely. I have seen, I've grown up, my children grew up in front of me. They are as, I don't know, if they are as straight as what they are, so straight, but I look like into zamji. Wavele banhleke bathi hayi wena uyagula lo. Wena. Uyabona kwabona banzi jokes, but I see it never had an impact in them. And my son once was interviewed at a radio station. He said he was angry, hey, hey, sine problems, we got divorced, and then I've bakhona nabafana phakathi. He was angry, but he started saying, "What, there's something that is missing. Why are people falling in love with me?" And he until he got into a space of understanding, what, no, let me not look at him as a person, because he's got his own life, and it was made to be like that. I'm sure I did not choose it as his child. It happened with his child, but abantu bayamthanda for 1, 2, 3, 4 reasons. And nami ndiyamthanda ngoba manifika pha ekhaya uzidlalisa kamnandi kanjani.
That's
And
that's very important. That's very good.
Now ubone ukuthi into abayithandayo bathanda the character that I've become. I'm a warm rounded parent. Even I've got grandchildren, bathanda mina ukudlula. Xa kuvela mina njengoba ngathi kuvele into enkulu, because I play my role normal.
Because you are full of love and caring.
Yeah, a grandparent, you don't have to say, hi, the sexual orientation. Uba grandpa, tatomkhulu, abanye benza tatomkhulu, grandpa, and all that. Hey, take us to the what, and then bathanda nokuthi nje yonke indawo ndiyabuliswa, nami ndiyabulisa, bathanda nje yonke loo nto leyo. And most of them have picked up the character of just loving to interact with people, which is, as I put it across, when I wake up, I want to be a functionary of society as a whole, not as a functionary of sexuality.
No, let me thank you very much.
You'll be surprised. A lot of people ask questions, but how do you relate so close and so well when we can't be separated? We are soulmates. We've grown up like that. So if I have something, take me out, because that's what she's been to me.
Good. I think you are handling this one of yours very, very maturely, and you are very frank and open about it, which makes life easy for you. You are not stressed, and the fact that you came out I think it becomes easy. Is it easy kulula for the bisexual people? Because one thing I always ask myself as someone who's on the health side of things, but who sleeps with gay people? Because gay people is people who have chosen to
be open,
to pretend that they don't have the penis. So I was asking myself, who penetrates gay people? So it means it's men who appear to be heterosexual.
It's all the men that you see in the street.
That's one thing we tend to overlook, because it's not people who are expressing themselves as interested in gay people, whatever, but it's ordinary men who appear to be heterosexual, and they're doing mixed and so on.
Yeah, and then let me tell you something that is also happening. A few times that I've noticed here, especially in Gauteng, now because of vulnerability of young men and this thing of men are becoming violent and abana misebenzi, do you know that mothers actually prefer that their children must go with you? It's happening.
And then yeah, kukho umanzi vibes uthi Mveleli uyazicacisa boy, wawuyichomi yam sisakhula useyiyo ke nangoku. And then umphumza sisusa uthi we love your hair also.
It's her.
Ezimele bendikomentile ke ngazo usafika into yoba I think you guys want to make a statement wherever you go. You want to be center of attraction. There's something about your hair. So there's a comment about your hair there. And then Unat Makiwane uti Dr. Love is a conscious man. You are a complete person, assertive and grounded. Let me take this opportunity on behalf of Appeal Communications, Dr. Gqwede, and thank you very much for availing yourself for sharing what is you. You have actually opened yourself to the public and to many people, to many parents who could be actually facing the situations of having abantwana aba lesbian, abantwana aba gay, so that they know how to handle some of the things, the challenges that these kids are going through for acceptance, and the fact that they need to accept themselves. Was we are here to prevent suicide, we are here to prevent stigma and discrimination, we are here to encourage people to take ARVs, pre-exposure prophylaxis. You guys are lazy you guys are said to be lazy to test for HIV. Can you comment and encourage people to test for HIV?
I think normally because you know, to be a gay person when HIV started, besibizwa kuthiwa singo HIV. Yeah, bekuthiwa now abantu be-AIDS. You know, and it was so unfortunate that it hit everybody. And then now I think normally people are just saying, what's the use of testing, because maybe I have. And now noting, in fact, let me also put this across, at the beginning of time, like in the 90s and in the 80s, a gay person would date one boy, straight boy, and then tell a friend, and all the gay people are going to circle around that boy, and then all of them are going to die from the same thing. And a lot of them died because we had to be muzzled and keep quiet. Now what is happening? Gay people still have open mouths like this, but then the friends, that's why it's easy for gay people to gay friends. Uthi umbona ithomi yakade yomuntu wakho ikufuna high and low self, ngoba iyabona ithomi hayi is a happy fat cat. We understand? Iyakufuna self ngoba ayizutshela umuntu nayizuthi ngumuntu wami lo nami ndimvile. So it happens ukuthi then that in its own right, and then when I reluctance, but I'm happy that especially with the Yerodot clinics and all that, there's a push what people must go and take and do preps and all that, you know, all that. It's very important. We must hammer it. What amagay kageniyeke lento kuhamba ningazilungisanga. Nivase ngaphansi, niphuze ipilisi, ningawutesta nokutesta, but makuvaswe kuphuzwe ipilisi leli, iteste.
Thank you so much.
Oh, sometimes preach.
And this thing of anal sex, there's a lot of work that needs to be done before anal sex. That's my parting shot now. Kufuneka kube kucleanwa i-anus, kusenziwa yonke into unlike awukwazi uqubula umuntu ngomcimbi we-anal sex. There needs to be preparation and information sharing.
My clean.
But this thing of casual sex, when do people get time to prepare the anus?
That's the problem. That's when umuntu ufuneka afunde ukuzithanda. When you love yourself, casual sex uzayiyeka. Because you want to enjoy you, not to enjoy that moment. And then uzicapkele thereafter.
And then you regret. Yeah, once you come, then you regret that moment big time.
Exactly.
A lot of people have got positive comments in terms of the insight that we've actually given them. And then the last comment is from Makebane Tembi Pagada, which this interview is very informative. Thank you, Dr. Tebelele. As a community, we are learning a lot. So you've actually assisted a lot of people. There are so many comments like that. I'm sure you'll be able to go through Appeal Communications on YouTube and also on Facebook. A lot of comments. And also there are lots of comments about your hair. Gay people who actually express themselves abafuna amehlo benza yonke into uyabanqanda but ngathi ukhona othi nawe usafuna unqando uthi
ayisekulate kungoku akakusanqanda nto ilibhebhethwane lakudala. I love that. Okay. Little message loud and clear.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gqwede, and thank you so much. And then for the sake of the people who are listening, have you got a partner or have you got partners?
Look, let me tell you, Kwamanje, I don't have a partner. I am just I think ngena kule phase of ungena to real adulthood. Enjoy to have time with my grandchildren, Gakulu, you know. And I go to work and then I come back and then I've got a lot of things that I'm doing and then business things and then no kupa bantwana most of the time. So I don't have a partner. A partner nandi nayo isimanga somuntu apha esasindi thanda undikhomba nangesibhamu. Sasweleka ke goodbye bye bye. So ngokuna nje ke nje uyabona nje nabo Ben 10 bayafona hayi ndibaceba khani imini ugogo ubusy kancinci ndiyami into sihlala nonomxolisi pha sihlale sibe happy sobabili sikamandi sihleke sipheke senze yonke lento sihambe.
Good. Thank you so much for
Thank
opening
you.
up to ourselves. And then kukho luthi sungxama dokotela hayibo uleqaphi akusemnandi lo xesha kudala silapha kuyafika nje.
Uzawundibiza kwakhona yena ndizamvumela andibize kaninzi.
No, I'll invite you again, definitely. I'm sure I'll take some of the questions that people have asked. Thank you so much, Dr. Gqwede. Dr. Love, we appreciate you and your personality. And thank you for coming out with sexuality, because a lot of people and a lot of marriages have collapsed because of people who have actually been living secret lives,
Yes.
and then they marry and then they come out later on in lives. And by talking openly on umcimbi sexuality, sex is actually referring to the organ between the legs. And then gender refers to how you interpret yourself psychologically.
Yes.
It's a social construction. And then sexual orientation is a matter of the heart. What kind of people are you attracted to? And what kind of people do you attract? That is matters of love. Dr.
Thank
Love,
you.
thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank you so much.
On behalf of Appeal Communications. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Siyabulela nakuni balandeli bethu. Thank you for all the comments and for all the questions and for following the talk. Please follow our page and like and follow us on Appeal Communications, ku Facebook, ku YouTube, ku Twitter, na ku TikTok. Thank you so much for being our community.